Hi, I'm Eli Wilsey, and here I have my Desert Temple mock. This is the latest creation in a long line of story building mocks that I've been working on for several years. It's a story about two adventurers, Bill and Jimmy, who have discovered this desert temple on the surface of the desert that looks very abstract, alien, sort of has these maze patterns in it. And they've gone through an entrance, and now they're inside the temple. So this build is really depicting the inside, and they're exploring deeper. Where is this water going? And I wanted to really pack it with detail. So I've been saving up a lot of these techniques for a long time to really show the intricate, like, ancientness of it. So I'm using colors of dark tan, and there's a lot more dark tan than there was in previous mocks as it's getting darker in the temple. But so yeah, so there's lots of details in this one, which I think a lot of people I was super excited to present, and so yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and take us through those because, I mean, like you see these cheese slopes here, so many great things. So just take us through some of your favorites and maybe explain a little bit of how those came together so maybe other people can be inspired by them.
Yeah, we'll start with the beginning of the story then. So on the very top here, I have this corner of the temple that's exposed in the sand. In my first original build, that was about it, with a few more by its standalone build. But that technique of the mazes, it's just tiles stuck into the sides of plates. They'll fit between the studs. And then I decided, hey, these work really well as like a maze pattern. So I created those and then put that in the sand. It looks really like alien, but it's mysterious, and I really liked that effect. So that was the first technique that I came up with. And then in the story, they go on to these pillars that are around here and they stand around this water here, and they're just mysterious. Why are they sticking them up in the desert? And in the storyline, Bill and Jimmy find a key inside one of these pillars. The tops come off, and there's like a little space to store some stuff inside. And then the third one, which I didn't include a reference to on this particular build, is them going into the door into the temple. So then we can move down, and one of the techniques out here is this floor patterning. It uses a lot of cheese slopes that are set into windows, actually. And you attach a lot of those, and they're sitting on the glass. Here, I can actually pull it out for you. And it's pretty sturdy technique, and these are all just set in here, so you can see that. And then the flip side is all the window panes, and it fits snug. It's not too tight. It's not damaging any of the bricks, but they're holding there just enough. And with the window panes, it sets the cheese slopes up to get that pattern of sort of like bricks that are inlaid in the ground.
That's amazing how it's tight enough that you can flip it upside down and they don't even come out.
You can even shake it. It's pretty robust, and I'm really happy with that pattern that I discovered. And that's just from playing around with cheese slopes over time. Like, what will these fit in? What, like, square boxes? And that window frame is the perfect size. So then we'll look at these pillars here. It was hard because there's such a limited palette of pieces in dark tan. It's like, how am I going to do a detailed pillar design? So I ended up just playing around with a bunch of different pieces. And there's these, you can see the 1x2 like modified tiles with the wall on the back. You can sort of stack them up. They're not connected, but with there's bricks on top that are holding them by pressure, and it holds them up with that staircase look to get that texture on the bottom of the pillars. And it was actually strong enough that I could flip it over, and there's the top ends that are holding up the top of the pillars too. And I was really happy with how that turned out. So it's a minor detail that I often forget about because there's so much more going on in the mock. But I was like, oh yeah, that is a cool little detail I included.
And what's happening on the wall in the back there?
Yeah, this is like a technique that I've been saving for years because it's really parts intensive, but it's also really detailed. So it's a lot of bucket handles that are plugged into the bottom of 1x2 bricks and then overlaid with each other. So there's like 200, if not 300 bucket handles on that wall right there. And I can actually pull one of those out and show you. These all pull out. They're about on like a 1x10 plate. And it's just, you can see it's 1x2 bricks with these bucket handles plugged in. It's not stressing the bucket handles or anything. They just fit right in there, and I've overlapped them and then alternated the direction, so it gives a little more texture and detail to that. So, and then they just slide right in. And I've used some of the stacks of clips next to these with bars clipped into them to add just a little bit of ridge detail around that, and then up to some newer arches that just recently came out in Harry Potter sets.
Yeah, and that pattern it makes up front there is just so amazing. It works so well.
Yeah, with all the patterns coming together, I wasn't sure how it had turned out, but I'm really satisfied with the result.
So as you're working on a build like this, or do you have certain pieces in mind and you're trying to use them in different ways, or are you kind of sort of like challenging yourself? What can I do with this?
Yeah, a lot of it is just I play around with a bunch of pieces like how does this texture look? I think I could repeat this pattern for a bigger area, and then I slowly will collect different patterns of that. And then when I have a whole table of techniques, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to build this creation. Let's see what works well with each other to complement the overall build, and that's how it just comes together.
Well, it's a great build. Is there more to this story? I know you mentioned some of the sections already. Is this something kind of an ongoing thing you're working on over the years?
Yes. At this point in the story, Bill and Jimmy are following the water, and they've encountered a pit that goes straight down into darkness in the original photo. And so there are 2 more builds planned in this immediate series that are coming soon. They have been planned, they just need to be executed.
There we go. We'll look forward to that. Thank you.